Hey guys, Bill here. You know, not too long ago I took a trip to Borneo to see the semi-wild orangutans that live there. Now to get there, you have to go through this little town called Kumai, where you get on a boat and then you head out into the jungle. But as we were leaving Kumai, I noticed all these new buildings that kind of look like condos. And so I asked my guide, I said, hey, who lives in these new buildings you guys are putting up here? And he said, you don't understand. People don't live there. Birds do. Believe it or not, it's true. All these buildings that you see here are built for one reason and one reason only, and that's to attract a special kind of bird known as a swiftlet. Now what swiftlets do is they make a nest that's used in a Chinese food delicacy known as bird nest soup. Bird nest soup, sometimes called the caviar of the East, is actually made out of the bird nest these swiftlets make. Now the reason you can eat this particular nest is because it's not really made out of twigs. What it's made out of is bird saliva. Yep, that's right. Swiftlet bird spit. I just can't wait to try some, can you? Now, as gross as that may sound, the soup is actually said to be full of nutrients, and it actually doesn't taste that bad either. I've had some before I knew what it was made out of. And in the old days, most of the bird nests were harvested from caves where the swiftlets would make them. But then somebody figured out how to build these buildings in a way that attracts the swiftlets. Notice the loudspeakers. They blast bird sounds all day. Now, the local residents told us that all these buildings are owned by Chinese businessmen. And that makes sense because bird nest soup has been a delicacy in China for thousands of years. Now, the funny thing about this story, and bear with me for a couple of minutes, is the fact that bird nest soup was outlawed in China during the Cultural Revolution. They said, oh, it's a decadent food, you can't eat it anymore. So there was no demand for it. But since then, it's been legalized again, and the demand is skyrocketing. It's so intense that the price right now is about $3,000 per kilo for raw bird nest. So as a result, there's now 100 times more birds in this town than there are people. And the racket from the birds is so loud, you can hear it like when you're out in the middle of the river. Now, what it made me curious about is what impact did all this noise have on the local people who lived in the town? I made a few discreet inquiries and I was discreetly told, what do you think? It's driving people so crazy, they're taking guns and they're shooting at the birds as they fly towards the buildings. Now, when the Chinese businessmen hear this, they send security guards out into the neighborhoods and threaten people and tell them to stop shooting the birds or else. And it's right around that point where the locals turn on the security guards and say, hey, we'll stop shooting them if they're your birds, but do you actually own them? At which point the security guards have to say, well, no, not really, but just the same, stop shooting them. You know, I understand where these people who are shooting the birds are coming from, but at the same time, I understand that, you can't stop progress. The demand for bird nest soup is so high, there are factory towns popping up in Thailand, Vietnam, and many other places. And that, my friends, brings me to the question of the day. Do you think it's cool that they're putting up these bird factory towns? Or do you think that the swiftlets should be left alone to build nests in caves the way they naturally do? Let me know what your opinion is in the comments section below. And oh, by the way, if you want to see the orangutan video I made, just click right here. As it turned out, right as we showed up, the dominant male of all these orangutans decided he was horny and went on a booty call. So just click on this link, and if you can't click on the link because you're on a phone or an iPad or something like that, go to my channel and just search the words orangutan booty call. You're gonna love it.